Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Signs of desperation as Kurdish people begging U.S. troops to remain in Syria as Turkey's ceasefire is getting ready to end. And it was too good to last. Take a look at the radar. What's coming our way? Rain. Brandon will have your forecast. But we do begin this noon with breaking news. Thank you so much for joining us. There is an investigation into Mayor Mike Duggan's office and the Make Your Date program. The Inspector General has finalized a report on possible preferential treatment out of the mayor's office. Let's get to Jason Colthorpe joining us now live to break down what this investigation uncovered. Jason.
Yeah, this is highly critical of the mayor's office, Rhonda. And we're talking about this goes way back now. We're talking about the charity that got more than $350,000 in city grants, but no city dollars related to fundraising, although this report states that process had begun at the behest of the mayor and his staff. Make Your Date is a nonprofit based at Wayne State aimed at reducing preterm births in Detroit. It's headed by Dr. Sonia Hassan, who has been alleged to have had a personal relationship with Mayor Mike Duggan. In May, the mayor denied any wrongdoing by the city, but the Inspector General's report says otherwise here. The 300-page report says Make Your Date was unilaterally selected by the mayor and his staff without a fair and open process. And furthermore, this report states the mayor's chief of staff, Alexis Wiley, directed certain Office of Development and Grants employees to delete emails pertaining to Make Your Date. Now, the OIG wrote this in regard to that, and I want to read it specifically. Of the above referenced key findings, we find the latter to be more egregious conduct for the reasons stated in this summary. The very fact that they were ordered to be deleted alone casts a shadow over transparency. That comes from the Inspector General, Ellen Ha. Now, I spoke with Alexis Wiley just a few moments ago, and she sent me a statement in regard to this, and I want to read it in full. She says, I've spent my life building a career based on integrity. In my 10 years as a reporter and 6 years in government, my integrity has never once been questioned. I would never knowingly do anything that would jeopardize or undermine that. When interviewed by the Office of Inspector General, I was truthful and I stand by my statements. Needless to say, I strongly disagree with the OIG findings. And we should point out the city of Detroit in August also put those deleted emails. They were recovered. They published them on the city's website, all out there. We're efforting now to talk to the mayor about this today. Apparently he's unavailable, but hopefully we'll be able to talk with him by phone. Of course, much more on this at 5 o'clock. Rhonda?
All right, we'll look forward to more and hopefully hearing from the mayor himself as well. Jason, thank you. Meanwhile, we have more breaking news this noon that we're following as the U.S. Supreme Court overturns a ruling over gerrymandering here in Michigan. Gerrymandering is a term for when voting districts are drawn in that may give an advantage to one party or another. A previous ruling called for dozens of districts in Michigan to be redrawn because they unfairly aided the GOP. The Supreme Court now says that the issue should be decided on the state level, which means that the districts will remain as is for the 2020 election. But following the 2020 census, a group of independent voters will be in charge of drawing the maps. That is after Proposal 2, you may remember, passed in the midterm elections in 2018. Well, we had a gorgeous fall weekend around here with plenty of sunshine and milder temperatures, and as we all know, good things do come to an end.
Especially on a Monday.
Yeah.
Why not be a Monday? We had a great weekend and we held everything off, but things are a-changing. You see the milky skies there, clouds filling in. We are in the low and soon-to-be middle 60s. 62 at Metro, it's 60 Ann Arbor, 60 degrees in Adrian. The winds are starting to kick up a little bit out of the southeast, 10 to 20. Occasionally, we're going to get gusts of 30 to maybe 40 miles an hour, especially late afternoon and more likely this evening. So here's how it breaks down for you. Rain is on the way. We have middle 60s with just clouds out there now, becoming a little bit breezy, gusty through the afternoon and evening. And after 2 o'clock, those rain chances really do increase. We get a little break for the evening drive, and then some heavier rain and thunder showers coming your way later tonight, probably after 8, maybe even after 9 p.m. But you can see showers starting to show up already into our south zone. Rhonda coming up will track not only this short pipeline, but look how far down it goes, tracking more rain and wind coming up.
All right, Brandon, thank you. Meanwhile, Detroit police negotiated early this morning with a woman that had a gun and barricaded herself in a home on Detroit's west side. Detroit police say that the 25-year-old woman was arguing with a neighbor that lived downstairs in a home on St. Mary's Street near Greenfield and the I-96 Jeffries Freeway. She also had a 5-year-old boy with her when she refused to surrender to police. That led to a standoff and negotiations.
After about an hour and a half, the suspect surrendered. She did have a 5-year-old male child in there who was turned over to a grandparent. So everyone is safe. No one's harmed. The arrest happened without incident or force.
The woman was then taken into custody. The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office will determine what charges may be brought in the case. And it is a crucial week for the UAW and General Motors as union members vote on whether or not to adopt that new tentative agreement. The agreement includes wage increases and bonuses for full-time and part-time employees. It will also keep the Detroit-Hamtramck plant open. However, the Lordstown, Ohio plant will remain closed. Some believe that the deal is a pretty good one for most UAW workers, while others say that temporary workers are not getting a fair deal. During the voting process, members will continue to strike. All the ballots must be cast by Friday. And there's more progress as an agreement has just been reached with General Dynamics. General Dynamics is the 5th largest defense contractor in the United States, and General Dynamics operates a manufacturing plant in Sterling Heights. Next, UAW members will vote on that tentative agreement. The identification of a woman's body found last year in Detroit's North End may connect her to a serial murder suspect. Deborah Reynolds disappeared in the summer of 2019. Wayne County's medical examiner has now identified her body, found badly decomposed in an abandoned house on Annan Street near Woodward and State Fair. Reynolds was last seen with suspected serial killer D'Angelo Martin. The investigation continues as work goes on to determine the cause of death. A man is arrested after police find a gun during a traffic stop. Police say that they were pulling over a car in Detroit where 4 men were inside of that vehicle when they pulled it over. And while talking to troopers, one of the men confessed that he had a gun and did not have a license to carry it. Officers discovered the gun was stolen and that the man is a convicted felon. He has been arrested for carrying a concealed weapon. And police in Dearborn need your help looking for this thief. Take a look. A donation box intended for donations for orphans was stolen from the posh hookah lounge just off Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. Security video shows the thief taking off with the box right off the counter. If you think you know who this person is or have any information about the person, please contact Dearborn Police. Meanwhile, the Kurdish people are begging for help as U.S. troops leave Syria and enter Iraq. And this comes as Turkey's ceasefire on Syria ends tomorrow. Let's get to Richard Engel joining us from northern Syria with more.
Signs of desperation this morning. Kurdish civilians begging U.S. troops in Syria not to leave while their lives and future hang in the balance. The Kurds held signs addressed to U.S. troops leaving Syria. Tell your children Kurdish children are dying, and we did nothing to protect them. Another, thanks U.S. people, but Trump betrayed us. Some demonstrators got angry, throwing stones. Activists and Kurdish officials tell NBC News the videos are genuine. Many U.S. troops saying they do feel profound guilt at what's happening right in front of them. Hundreds of Kurds have been killed in the last 2 weeks. Hundreds of thousands forced to leave their homes, while U.S. troops have orders not to intervene. The Kurds call Turkey's assault, now mostly paused until a ceasefire ends tomorrow, is a campaign of ethnic cleansing. These are the same Kurds who fought side by side with U.S. forces in Syria for 5 years against ISIS. Multiple senior U.S. commanders tell us they were the best and most loyal partners they've ever worked with. Some U.S. forces have already left Syria, crossing the border into Iraq. The defense secretary this morning said the administration is considering leaving a small number of U.S. forces here in northern Syria. They would primarily be protecting oil fields. Richard Engel, NBC News, northern Syria.
Richard, thank you. Still to come, the search for a missing plane in North Carolina has now ended, where search and rescue crews located the wreckage. And it is a big day in Canada as voters are deciding whether or not to keep Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in power.